When I left Dick for the last time, I knew it would be the last time. When I left him, I thought I knew him. I knew that he could be dishonest. I knew that he liked triangulation. And I knew that he had a gift for suddenly realizing how valuable I was when I had completely given up on him. But when the blinders came off, I realized that I didn't know Dick at all. And the part that's really embarrassing is it was in my face the whole time. For instance, I had no idea that Dick was a pathological liar. I first became aware of how easy it was for him to lie to me when I was in an argument with him about why I wouldn't take him back. I told him that I knew he had cheated and he denied it. I'm like, dude, I saw her bedspread on your bed. Do you think I'm blind? He admitted to lying by saying, no more lies. There was no shame, no remorse, and no guilt. There was no change in his appearance or behavior. Lying came as easy to him as breathing. I still had to teach myself to question his integrity. I learned that he was a brilliant actor. When hoovering, he could create any character he thought I wanted to see. His last great act for me was to take on the personality of the worship pastor of his church. Thank you for that insight, Rebecca Michael. Unfortunately for him, he took the character so far over the top that it was totally unbelievable. It would be many years before I realized that his real personality was a mean, judgmental, foolish man, but would play the part of someone else's needed. He also convinced me that he thought he loved me. He found ways to make me feel sorry for him. I was always mystified by how a person with no empathy knew how to make people feel sorry for him. Time told the tale. The longer he hoovered, the less convincing he became. I had no idea how much Dick enjoyed triangulation. When I first met him, he had a girlfriend that he moved to our state with from down south. He told me that they were breaking up, and the next thing I knew, I was competing with her. He finally chose me, but I don't consider myself a winner. I originally felt bad for him having to make that choice until I realized that he loved the conflict. He loved it so much that after we married, he kept up the game. I was ignorant to it, but he continued to torture her, I found out later. I believe he was leaning toward triangulating us again when I left him the first time, and then set me up for another triangulation with someone else when I left him the second time. When I was no longer available for that game, he pit our twins against each other. I know that if I had stayed, I'd be competing with our daughter. Fact. One of the things I kept mulling over about Dick when I was no longer with him was how he would change history when relating an event, saying things that I knew could not possibly be true, or how he would deny things that took place altogether. An example of this would be when he totally denied bringing me back into the relationship the first time I had left. Another was that he would say that our marriage counselor thought I was fucked up, as if our marriage counselor would share those thoughts with him. But when Dick started using religion as a tool of manipulation and started speaking for God, I knew that he was truly delusional. He would claim that God speaks to him, and I should worship him like God. This was while he was engaging in the smear campaign, which I'm seriously doubting that God told him to do. He was vengeful. When Dick finally realized that I was never going back to him, he went all high school on me. Not only did he go on the smear campaign, but he kept looking for little ways to get back at me. He would do things like sign up the kids for book clubs and put the bill in my name and address. He would pick a fight with me in front of the kids so it would make me look like a bad guy. Or he would arrange for me to pick up the kids at the church so his flying monkeys could have a turn at me. When he had the kids, he would tell them how mean I was to him and send me back hostile kids. He made prank calls to my friend's phone, pretending to be a man looking for me. All this done by a man who says he has changed. He was dumb as a box of rocks. When Dick would talk, he sounded pretty good for the most part, but he couldn't think on his feet. When he would bait me into an argument about getting back together with him, he would never fail to say something impulsive and stupid in a moment of irritation. So he started writing his hoovering. When he put his thoughts into writing, I knew I was dealing with an idiot. All of what I took for intelligence was only arrogance. The emperor had no clothes. His metaphors made absolutely no sense, and he couldn't focus on a thought. He would often contradict himself in exactly the same sentence. When he tried to be poetic, he just sounded stupid. And the dumbest act of all was purposely destroying true love. Some people look their whole lives for true love, and Dick had it and threw it away. I have never met anybody as tenacious as Dick. He wanted what he wanted and would badger me until he got it, just like a child. I don't know how many different ways I could say, I don't like you, I don't want you, and I will never be with you again, and not be heard. He hoovered me for over a year. He tried every tactic in the book, and even tried the ones that had failed several times again to make sure. He started off sounding sweet, but at the end sounded like an obsessed lunatic. He thought God was going to hand me over to him, and he was going to get his way. At the end, it was obvious that he only wanted me to go back because it was my Christian duty. It was apparent that there was no love at all. He wanted me back because he felt he owned me. It took getting married again to get him to move on. And when I did get married again, he was surprised, and I don't know why. He was a gambler. Not for money. He gambled for control. The first time I left him, he was so sure that he would have me back that he got my name tattooed on his arm before we even started communicating. What really got me back was the interference of people that I was supposed to be able to trust. The second time I left, he quit his job, thinking I would drop everything and go rescue him. He gambled that I would come back when he manipulated me into leaving him so he could have an affair, and he gambled that I wouldn't start making him respect my boundaries when he assaulted me. It took him forever to realize that I did not love him anymore, and the emotional blackmail no longer worked. By the way, the second wife did not love the tattoo. She had it changed, but to this day it is a reminder of how I led him on and ruined his life. He had zero conscience. I have no idea how someone can do the things he has done and not feel any remorse or shame. If I even think I have done something thoughtless, I'm mortified. But not him. For every act of evil, there is an excuse or someone to blame. I don't know how someone can get involved with the leadership of a church and not believe in the God that they are pretending to worship or fear hell. What is so wrong with a person that they would try to convince someone they hate to get back with them just to prove that they can? The whole 6 years that I was married to Dick, I failed to see what a truly bad person he was. He wasn't just a person who behaved badly. He was truly bad. It took completely emotionally detaching from him to remove the rose-colored glasses and see him for what he really was. When I look back at the evidence, I see that Dick is an evil man with no redeeming qualities. If I had allowed myself to see him for what he really was, I would have never loved him at all. Thank you for watching my channel, and please like and subscribe. And to all you narcissists out there, don't be a dick.